Hi everyone, so in this tutorial we're going to have a look at creating particle effects. I'm going to admit my knowledge of particle effects is quite limited. I kind of got this working by kind of merging code with Ursina with some of the code from Panda 3D. I'm not totally sure exactly how it works, but it's working for my game. So I'm going to get you to where I'm up to, and then hopefully you can take it to another level. Just quickly, you'll notice that I have a file here called particle emitter. So what I did was, to get particles working, I created this object. And it's actually using some of the Panda 3D classes that underpin Ursina. And then I've kind of put it inside its own entity. Currently I've got a default file of Snow Splash. You'll find in my folders, I've got some of these PTF files, which are actual particle effects that also have textures around them as well. So they're there. If you want to create your own particle effects, you can actually run the particle panel.py, and then if you press play on that file, you should be able to go through this tkinter application. But again, there's so many values and variables, I'm not actually quite sure how it all works. What I do know is that there are some pre-built particle effects. And you'll see there's things like fire and fountain, etc. So you could actually edit some of the values from this and then place them into your game. But anyway, like I said, my knowledge of this is fairly limited. What I have done is I am using this Snow Splash PTF. And it's basically going to have it so if the snowball hits something, I'm going to run it. So to put that inside my game, there's a few things I've done. Firstly, you have to enable particles in the Ursina game engine. So you must enable particles. The second thing I've done is I've created a function inside my game controller object called create explosion, where it creates the particle emitter. I found it actually better to create it using the game than to create it inside a specific entity, because I believe what might happen is the particle emitter will actually be created inside that entity itself. And really what I want to have happen is, for a snowball, if it hits something, I want it to destroy the snowball, but create a particle emitter in the same position. So it's easier if I have that inside the game controller than inside the snowball itself, because the snowball will be destroyed. It won't be able to then create a particle emitter. So I've created that function there. It creates the particle emitter, which is just like an entity inside the game. I've also got up here, I've imported in my file. So that's ready to go. And now what I want to do is, for my snowman, if my snowman is hit by the snowball, I want to actually create that particle emitter. So you can see that I'm going to create the particle emitter at my entity's position. So wherever the snowball's position is, and I'm actually going to just put it in the direction of the snowman just a little bit. So actually, I'm not quite sure. I don't think I had to have that there, but I think I've just adjusted it because I think it looks better. But I'm going to create an explosion at the same position as where the snowball was. Right. And then, but maybe I've actually moved it back a little bit. And then I've done the same with the snowball. In the snowball, if the snowball hits anything other than a snowman, I'm going to create an explosion. So as I was saying, you want to make sure you identify where your collision code is going to occur. the snowman itself is going to take care of the snowball's collision, explosion. But for the snowball, if it hits anything other than a snowman, and the ground for that matter, it's going to create an explosion. And I could even play a sound if I wanted to, but I think I'll just leave it like it is. So there's me adding my particle effects in. I don't think I need to do anything with my player. No, that should work. So let's see it in operation. I'm going to press play. What I would like to work out at a later date is how I can make snow in my game using a particle emitter. Maybe if I create a particle emitter in the sky. I'm not quite sure, but for the moment, I'll let smarter people than me work that out. So at the moment, if I hit my huts with a snowball, you can see that it's creating particles. If I hit the snowman, okay, for some reason that's not creating particles, which is a problem, as it should be. So I'll have to just check it out. It's definitely working in some ways, but it's not working in others. I also need to turn off that music because the music's just hard to hear over. So I'll turn off my music. I'm just curious to know why that create an explosion isn't working. It's definitely if the entity is equal to. All right, so if the snowball hits if the snowman hits a snowball, it's going to create that explosion. But for some reason, it's not working as is, which is weird because I can't see any reason why it wouldn't. The only thing I could think of is maybe the snowball's being destroyed before the actual particle effect's being created. That would be bad. So if I want to make the particle effect, I need to make sure the snowball still exists initially. Okay, that's working. I don't know why it wasn't working last time. There you go. All right, so it's all working now. That's particle effects in action. But like I said, I'm sure there'll be smarter people than me who can make particle effects better than what I've done. And I'm sure Ursina will probably develop it itself at some point. Right, I'm going to leave the tutorial there. Thank you very much for listening.